Bring the IT guy in to do introductions to people. So, you know, he gets the computers there. I've got two that I keep in a special place. The only way that they stay on is.
Good evening, Thorold City Council. I'd like to call this meeting to order and then adjourn, and we all go once.
You better be
Call
quick.
this meeting to order. And first on our agenda, are there any conflicts of interest, councilors? Councilor Levy.
Yes, item under bylaws 9E, bylaw number 133-2016 that deal with the senior hockey team.
Clerk will so note that. And we're going to move right into a public meeting. We're doing things a little differently these days. Instead of halfway through our meetings, our council meetings on Tuesday nights, we're going to start it on whenever we have a public meeting. We will start with a public meeting. This way we have to probably dissipate. People will leave and probably go home and not have to be here. Okay, so this public meeting is being held pursuant to the provision of section 22, 34, and 51 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, CP 13, as amended. The purpose of the proposed official plan and zoning bylaw amendments and draft plan of subdivision is to permit the modify the internal street and lot patterning and reduce the commercial block size of the previously approved draft plan of subdivision. The proposed draft plan of subdivision is comprised of 399 single detached units, 32 townhouse units, 1 block commercial uses for 4 commercial uses, 3 block for park use, 4 blocks for road widening, and 3 blocks for meter reserve. The purpose of the proposed official plan amendment is to reduce the size of the commercial designation. The purpose of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment is to rezone the subject lands to permit single detached and townhouse residential units, parkland, and commercial development with special provisions. The applicant has provided the information and material required under section 22, 34, and 51 of the Planning Act, and accordingly, this application is considered complete. Information and material is available to the public. An attendance sign-in sheet is located on the table along the wall by the council chamber door. If you wish to receive a copy of the forthcoming city staff recommendation report and a copy of the city council decision, please add your contact information to the sign-in sheet. At the same table, copies of this evening's city technical report are available for review, which include all comments received to date. I'll call on Ken Gagnon of the Upper Canada Consultants on behalf of 2524964 Ontario Inc. Describe proposed application. Welcome, Mr. Candio.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ken Gunn with Upper Canada Consultants, and I'm here representing Thorold Limited Company together with Empire Homes. And we are working on a plan of subdivision known as Port Robinson Estates, which you can see. There we go. Which you can see outlined with the shade of pink on this attached, on this drawing. And you notice up in the north right-hand corner, there's another property that is outlined in black, 7.74 hectares, which we've recently been able to acquire and add to the subdivision. So in 2008, the original draft plan was approved, and in 2014, there was a red line revised plan and zoning amendment to sort of update that plan. And since then as well, there's been a comprehensive servicing plan that's designed for the entire Port Robinson East area on the east side of the 406. So the servicing designs for that entire area are now in pretty good order. And the needs for this application is the developer and Empire Homes have entered into an agreement to build out the site. And Empire has some specific product that they'd like to market, which meets current market demand, and they've been very successful with that housing in other areas of the region. The new housing product, of course, requires some adjustments to the subdivision design and the zoning, and we added the corner lands, as I previously mentioned, and we also would like to reduce the amount of commercial land, which will help us achieve some more residential units on the site. The official plan amendment only deals with the reduction of the commercial land within the subdivision. We're going from 4.2 hectares down to 2.7 hectares. That's a block of land in the southeast corner of the site. And so that's a 35% reduction in the commercial area on the property. The previous block would render about 135,000 square feet of commercial floor space. To give you an idea of how big that is, a supermarket is generally about 30,000 square feet, which is like 4 big block stores. So we reduced the size of it down to 87,000 square feet of commercial floor space that would be achieved on the site, which we believe is more realistic. And to give you an idea, that would be the size of 2 big block stores, or perhaps 10 or 12 typical plaza unit stores. So here's the draft plan. There's 411 units at 19.9 units per hectare, and there's 339 single detached lots with frontages ranging from 9.2 meters to 13.4, 72 freehold townhouse units in 12 blocks with 6-unit blocks each. There's a 5% park dedication, of course, and in the bottom left corner, which is the southeast corner of the site, you can see the 2.7 hectare commercial. The plan has been redesigned so that it's more of a grid road system now, which is what planners in Southern Ontario or Ontario like to see, as opposed to the curvilinear road pattern. It's more efficient, it's easier for fire protection, easier for servicing, all those sorts of things. And we have 2 main collector roads in the plan, which are those 2 on each side of the park, and they collect the traffic from the entire subdivision and take it out to Cottonmire Road. There's units, the brown units there are the townhouse units that would be backing onto Merritt Road in 406, and the park dedication there is shown in green, as I previously mentioned. So these are the style of houses that Empire would like to build. The larger lots are the 2 sort of upper houses there. And you can see there are like 2-car garages, and the end units on corners have a nice wraparound porch, so you're just not looking at a flat wall on that side of the house facing flanking side of the street. The smaller lots are for single-car garages, just a little narrower, and that's the style of housing product that you would see on those types of. And here are the freehold townhouses in 6-unit blocks, and of course the same as the singles, they have wraparound porches on the corner lot end units. Pretty nice looking housing product. So just to summarize, the official plan amendment maintains the lands for commercial services The bylaw amendment allows us to follow that style of housing product. Revised plan helps us with the more desirable community design. It all complies with provincial, regional, and city policy. We have staff support, and that will be, of course, subject to their conditions of approval. And with your approval, Empire Homes is geared up to get working on this as soon as possible. They'd like to be in the ground in 2017 as quick as we possibly can. So if there's anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to respond if I did.
Are there any questions for Mr. Gagnon? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
There's no questions.
Yeah, question. I don't know if this applies to you.
Well, that's, I'll call on Lola Anderson.
Oh,
Sir, you'll be able to present, make your presentation during the presentation, just after the presentation. And I'll call on Lola Anderson to highlight technical report and department/agency comments.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and councilors. Further to the overview of the application and the site provided by the Mayor and Mr. Gagnon on behalf of 2524-96-4 Ontario Inc. and Aramar Management Services Inc., I will highlight the city's technical report. As previously stated, the purpose of the proposed official plan and zoning bylaw amendments and draft plan of subdivision is to permit the addition of lands to the draft plan of subdivision, as well as modify the previously approved draft plan's internal street and lot patterning, and reduce the size of the commercial block located at the corner of Merritt and Cotmire Roads. The site consists of a 22.89 hectare parcel and a 7.74 hectare parcel that are bound by Port Robinson, Cotmire, Merritt Roads, as well as the Highway 406. The existing zoning on the property is a mix of residential, commercial, and open space with holding provisions with respect to servicing and archaeological requirements. The application will reconfigure the existing zones to match the modifications to the draft plan and will make some minor changes to the zoning requirements. The application was circulated to the various agencies and municipal departments for comment, and the following correspondence has been received. The clerk's department had no objection, subject to having an engineer confirm that this proposal is not within the Singer's Corner drainage area. Building services had no objections, however, request submission of a comprehensive geotech report and clearance with respect to the MPCA and MTO regulations prior to the issuance of a building permit. Additionally, building services would kindly request that the owner's consulting engineer verify that the proposed design of the underground sanitary services is in compliance with the protection from backflow requirements of the Ontario Building Code. Bell Canada had no objection, however noted that the owner will be required to provide any necessary easements that may be required and the inclusion of standard draft condition clauses. Enbridge Gas had no objection and also noted that the owner will be required to provide Enbridge Gas with any necessary easements that may be required. The Operations Department noted that the consulting engineer's servicing plans for the proposed subdivision are acceptable and will be further reviewed as details are finalized. Canada Post had no objection and noted that mail service to the draft plan of subdivision will be provided via community group mailboxes. The Ministry of Transportation acknowledged receipt of the circulation and noted that the traffic impacts management report were being reviewed at this time. Further comments will be received from them. Not included in the technical report are, as they were not received until just recently, our fire services requested an access onto Street G from Port Robinson Road. The region of Niagara and regional staff noted that the proposed draft plan conforms to provincial policies for settlement areas and greenfield lands, specifically through the land uses that facilitate the creation of a complete community, provision of a range of housing options, and design of road and block patterns that encourage the use of active transportation. The plan also generally aligns with regional policies. Regional staff also noted that they have no objection to the proposed official plan amendment, zoning bylaw amendment, and draft plan of subdivision from a provincial and regional perspective, subject to draft conditions with respect to the filing of a record of site condition, archaeological requirements being met, implementation of noise recommendations, inclusion of warning clauses with respect to industrial and agricultural activities, decommissioning of any private septic systems on the site, approvals being obtained for servicing and stormwater management designs, and clauses outlining waste collection requirements. Regional staff also noted that the MPCA will provide comments with respect to the natural core heritage features on the region's behalf. The Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority and the DSBN both requested additional time to review all of the submission prior to submitting any of their comments. Planning staff will review the application in light of the submitted reports and studies, land use compatibility, impact on surrounding land uses, the physical design of the draft plan of subdivision, in addition to provincial, regional, and municipal planning policies, and all agency, department, and public comments received prior to bringing a recommendation report to council. This concludes the technical report.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Ms. Anderson, council? Seeing none, thank you, Ms. Anderson, for your presentation. Okay. If any person or public body does not make oral submissions at the public meeting or make written submissions to the City of Thorold before the proposed official plan amendment, zoning bylaw amendment, and draft plan of subdivision is adopted, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of the Council of the City of Thorold to the Ontario Municipal Board. Now, at this time, is there anyone present who wishes to speak for or against the application? Please come forward to the podium. I guess
Regarding services.
Good evening, my name is Steve Zakas. I'd like to I have a quick question regarding services. This applies to what was mentioned. Now, I understand the main trunk is coming underneath the 406 down to the southernmost end of Cotton. Now, my question is it the main trunk going to be located on the west side of Cottmire? And will laterals be placed to the east side of Cottmire to Port Robinson?
I'll have our engineer, Mr. Dunsmore, answer that question for you.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. The service will run generally up the middle of Cottmire Road, and depending on water and sanitary, it'll get aligned, it'll take up most of the road allowance. And in terms of installing the laterals, I don't think that the laterals would be installed as part of that program, but certainly hooking up to it for future development can certainly happen. So,
Would it be beneficial to hook up the laterals? Yeah, I have some property on Cottmire on the east side, and in your estimation, would it be more feasible to do this lateral hookup on the east as opposed to waiting till everything is complete?
certainly there would be options to do that. There would be buy-in charges associated with that process. But there isn't all that much being saved by making those connections now. And if we put them in the wrong spot, we may regret it later.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sir, I would suggest you set up a meeting with engineering and sit down and talk to them about it. privately, you'd probably get a lot better, better answers to your questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, is there anyone who would like to speak for or against this application? I don't see anybody, so I'll move to my closing remarks. This fulfills the requirements of the Planning Act, RSO 1990 CP 13, pursuant to section 22, 34, and 51. The city's general committee will consider staff's recommendation report when it is presented to the city council at a future date. Anyone wishing to receive a copy of city council's decision as a result of these applications is asked to submit their request in writing to the city clerk. As such, the public meeting portion of this application is now closed. Okay. The update on the ballgame, the Jays are up 4-1 in the bottom of the seventh.
Blue and fleet.
Top the eight, sorry.
Can we move to adjournment? I agree with everything here. I got nothing to say.
We'll move on to
They might do it.
the minutes. Minutes of the regular council meeting held on October 4th, 2016. Councilor Schmon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Neal, that the minutes of the regular council meeting held on October the 4th, 2016 be received and adopted.
Thank you, Councilor. Are there any items for discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Minutes of the special council meeting held on October 4th, 2016. Councilor Hammond.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Sharon, that the minutes of the special council meeting held on October 4th, 2016 be received and adopted.
Thank you, Councilor. Are there any items for discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. I'll move on to my mayor's report. On October 7th, I attended the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 17's 19th anniversary dinner. On behalf of council, I'd like to extend congratulations to the Legion and all its members. We are very proud and appreciative of the hard work and dedication to our community. With me on that night was Councilor Neal, Councilor Evelini, and Regional Councilor Henry D'Angela also again. On October 14th, the grand opening of the Bethesda's Niagara Family Center happened just around the corner on Schmon Parkway. This new facility will go a long way to help the staff continue the outstanding provision of support and services for individuals with special needs in Niagara. The same evening, I was at Center Ice of the Frank Doherty Reunion to drop the puck on the Thorold Athletic season's home opener. It was a high-scoring game with the A's coming out on top 8-5. Best of luck to the entire athletics organization for a winning season. On October 9th, Family and Children's Services of Niagara is asking everyone to wear purple to raise awareness for Child Abuse Prevention Month. We are getting a jump start on tomorrow by showing our support tonight at council and ask you to join thousands of people across the Niagara region in purple waves of awareness tonight. Thank council, every one of us, and staff, everybody else who wants some purple. Thank you very much, I appreciate that. Of course, I'm wearing a t-shirt. On October 27th, the CIBC branch on Front Street will celebrate its 100th anniversary. This is a huge milestone for any organization, and we offer congratulations to all of the hardworking staff who serve our community. To mark this special occasion, the CIBC will be holding a business attire clothing drive with donations to Thorold Community Care. This clothing drive will help those in need to dress for success when they attend an interview or begin a new career. Please check your closets for any business attire you may be able to donate. And that concludes my report. We'll move on to delegations. We have Joanna B. Quadros, interim chief librarian, Thorold Public Library. And she's going to talk about our facility needs at Thorold Public Library and patron appreciation. Welcome, Joanne. And Vandermasters also. Sorry, John.
Good evening, Mayor and councilors and city staff. This is a special week for Ontario Public Libraries. It is Ontario Public Library Week. And it's a special campaign to raise awareness of the programs and services offered to the community through public libraries. Thank you for giving Tony and the board chair and I the opportunity to explain the library's role in the community, address facility needs, and how the proposed motions will affect the library. The library is the heart of the community. It benefits all ages, backgrounds, and walks of life in many ways for the local economy. Research has proven that modern library facilities have a direct impact on increased tax dollars, and it draws business, home buyers, and tourists. The library also provides free access to computers, word processing, and the internet for those who have a valid library card. As at the end of September, 7,623 people use the internet computers in the library, and 1,173 people have used our wireless connection. The library also provides information for the real-life questions for community residents, such as which washing machine to purchase, investing, or health concerns. Reading readiness for preschool children is one of the many aspects of our children's programming. Visits to the library are often a child's first introduction to literacy. Preschool story hours provide a fun, safe, and stimulating introduction to literacy and reading, and provide many activities to stimulate language development. We live in a competitive world where we constantly need to upgrade our skills in the workplace. The library provides resources and programs to investigate new career interests, upgrade skills related to occupations. Literacy is not only an essential component in Canada's economic prosperity, but an informed, literate population strengthens Thorold's economy as well. Recreational reading is a pleasant and productive way to use leisure time. It promotes and enhances literacy skills. Every year, the library provides a free summer reading program filled with fun activities and prizes to keep children reading all summer long. By participating in this program, students begin their school year ahead instead of 2 reading levels behind. And the famous question, why do we need libraries? Well, the library covers the learning, cultural, recreational, and community needs of our city. Libraries are dynamic. We adapt to the needs of our community and popular trend. For example, we have adapted the iPad into our children's programming to use apps and music, introducing them to a new form of technology. The 4 literacy computers in the children's department logged 2,332 sessions at the end of September. Libraries are now gathering places where you can meet with your friends to make crafts regardless of your age, watch a movie, write and publish a book, and simply just have fun. Libraries are teacher. The library provided 122 free computer lessons tailored to fit the learning style of 289 people within the last year. Nearly 100 grade 8 students visited the library to learn how to use our print and electronic resources this month alone. Libraries connect individuals with their communities through our programming and with the world via computers and the internet. But don't take my word for it. Let's watch what a few library users have to say. One-on-one lessons from the library. But anyways, saying how they enjoy visiting the library. They value things such as convenient parking, our books, our programs, and it is a way for them to gather to meet other individuals in their community and reconnect with friends. So the stories of the library patrons, which you can actually watch on our YouTube channel, and how they use the library has a direct tie with our facility needs and the ability of the library to maintain and grow its services. This slide tells us exactly what our library is worth. For our community, it is $2.6 million worth of services. For the city of Thorold, it is a return of almost $5 for every dollar of municipal funding. As you can see, your library is the best deal in town. This portion will expand, stated in the letter to council on October 4th, relating to the library's facility. And once again, Tony and I are expressing the board's need to be involved in any discussion relating to future plans concerning Chestnut Hall, the vacant land behind the library, and the library's parking lot. While the library is, of course, sympathetic to the severity of the housing need, the library will face challenges if we were to lose Chestnut Hall, the library parking lot, and the vacant land to an assisted living, long-term, or retirement facility. The loss of Chestnut Hall will mean the loss of needed meeting space, 2 washrooms, a storage room, janitor's room, utilities such as hydro, water, internet, telephone, and services. These utilities are located in the basement of Chestnut Hall. Not all of these items are pictured here on this slide. The library will need to recoup the lost space and the utilities will have to be moved. The loss of the parking lot would mean the loss of our AODA accessible parking spot. It would inconvenience library users such as those with young children and those with disabilities to access our facility, and this could deter residents from using the library. At the moment, we have 23 parking spaces with 1 being an accessible parking spot. The current parking lot is already too small. We regularly hold programs with 25 to 30 participants. In addition, community organizations and neighboring facilities use our parking lot, which fills it to capacity and makes it difficult for us to accommodate the needs of our patrons. The loss of the vacant land would mean the loss of outdoor programming space we use in the summer. We hold our story time, summer reading club activities, and special events such as a fun fair outside. There would be no room for future growth, one that would include a library expansion to accommodate the loss of space, bathrooms, storage, and utilities, an expanded parking lot, and outdoor green space. According to the development chart study, Thorold's population and the number of households will grow and continue to grow. The study identifies the library's facilities as a need attributable to anticipated development. The library's strategic plan also highlighted the need for an expansion. Our facility needs to help maintain and grow services offered by the library. This slide provides 2 potential solutions. Option 1, the loss of space in Chestnut Hall and some of the parking lot will require an expansion to the current facility, using the vacant land to compensate for the loss of meeting space, storage, bathroom, and utilities. A second option, the library could be included in a multi-use facility downtown. This means that the municipality will have 1 less building to maintain. A newer and efficient building may result in lower utilities, provide the on-trend one-stop shopping, and attract new library users, not to mention new residents to Thorold. There are several communities who have done this successfully.
I'd like to thank members of council as well for allowing us to come here tonight to address the library's requirements. As you can see, the library has a number of very important uses to this community. When I was a kid, a library was a place you went. It seemed kind of dim, and it was floor-to-ceiling books from wall to wall to wall, and a mean old lady who sat there and just dared you to whisper too loud. Yeah, no, it's nothing like that anymore.
It's true.
This is, you know, it's a gathering place now. But in order to continue to deliver our products, we simply can't afford to lose 19% of our total floor space, usable floor space, and it's 60% of our programming area. And don't forget that the library space as it stands now was deemed adequate back when this library was built in this place, which was, what, almost 40 years ago? The city's changed somewhat. The services have definitely changed somewhat in 40 years. And we'd like to keep that into account, along with the fact that you're going to be building a lot of new houses, the Port Robinson West, Thorold South. So we're looking at potentially having a huge increase of library patrons. So we would like to ask you tonight to do three things for us. One is to take this presentation into account when you deliberate on your plans concerning this property. Two is that whatever you decide to do, that the library be a part of whatever transitions are required. And third, we would like to respectfully request that council consider putting the proceeds from the sale of the land toward the expansion of the library so that we can make up for any potential lost space and hopefully even meet future needs. Thank you very much.
Just wanted to highlight Patron Appreciation Day is this Saturday, October 22nd. We will be having cake and coffee at the library at 2 o'clock for anyone who would like to come as a thank you to our library patrons. And also, I will be available to give a tour of the facilities if anyone is interested. So once again, thank you for listening.
Thanks, Joanna and Tony. You've made some very important points. Are there any questions of our presenters? Seeing none. Thank you very much. Move on to communications. Items referred to City Council, City of Thorold, Council Neal.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Before I make the motion for the water situation, it was interesting that there was 2 articles from the province regarding the water issue. And the first one was on September 29th when Sandals, the minister, stated that there was nothing wrong and there was lots of misinformation and everything's great as far as Nestle's and other organizations that are taking water from our groundwater. On October 17th, I guess it was a change of heart maybe it's because we put it forward last meeting that they have done this. But anyways, on October 17th, now they're looking at all the proposals for groundwater and are looking seriously at what restrictions are going to be placed on taking groundwater. I talked to a couple of farmers the last couple of days, and our aquifer in our immediate area is very, very low. They have to go down quite a bit before they find water now in our area. So it's not a very pleasing situation that is happening. So my motion put forward tonight, Mr. Mayor, is moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Ugolini, that the Council of the Corporation of the City of Thorold sent a letter to Premier Wynne and Minister Murray expressing concern with the issuance of permits being issued to business enterprises and bottled water companies for the sale of bottled water, and that this practice is not in the best interest of the municipalities of the province of Ontario and its watershed areas.
Thank you, Councilor Neal. Are there any speakers to the motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Association of Municipalities of Ontario, Councilor Dion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a motion regarding the infrastructure deficit that we've had many discussions about on council. And I'll just go ahead and read it. It's rather lengthy, so bear with me. Whereas recent polling conducted on behalf of the Association of Municipalities of Ontario indicates 76% of Ontarians are concerned or somewhat concerned property taxes will not cover the cost of infrastructure while maintaining municipal services, and 90% agree maintaining safe infrastructure is an important priority for their communities. And whereas infrastructure and transit are identified by Ontarians as the biggest problems facing their municipal government, and whereas a 10-year projection, 2016 to 2025, of municipal expenditures against inflationary property tax and user fee increases shows there to be an unfunded average annual need of about $3.6 billion to fix local infrastructure and provide for municipal operating needs. And whereas the $3.6 billion average annual need would equate to an annual increase of about 4.6%, including inflation, province-wide property tax revenue for the next 10 years. That's a 4.6% increase per year for 10 years in property taxes. And whereas this gap calculation also presumes all existing and multi-year planned federal and provincial transfers to municipal governments are fulfilled. And whereas if future federal and provincial transfers are not fulfilled beyond 2015 levels, it would require annual province-wide property tax revenue increases of up to 8.35% per year for 10 years. And whereas Ontarians already pay the highest property tax in the country, and whereas each municipal government in Ontario faces unique issues and fiscal health and needs are a challenge which unites all municipal governments regardless of size. Now therefore be it resolved that this council supports the Association of Municipalities of Ontario in its work to close the fiscal gap so that all municipalities can benefit from predictable and sustainable revenue to finance the pressing infrastructure and municipal service needs faced by all municipal governments.
Thank you, Councillor. Are there any speakers to the motion? Councillor Uglini.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I had the pleasure of attending What's Next Ontario, put on by AMO, is holding round tables across the province. I attended the round table in St. Catharines, and it was a very interesting discussion. And they're going around the province, then they'll formalize a plan moving forward to lobby the provincial government on potential changes. So they're working hard, and a lot of good ideas come out of that meeting, and I'm sure they will across the province.
Thank you, Councillor. Are there any other speakers to the motion? Councillor Dion.
Yeah, I just simply wanted to add, aside from the official motion, that the average mentioned here of 4.6% increase in property taxes per year for 10 years, based on our discussions over the many years, previous years, Thorold is above that average. If you look at the postponed infrastructure projects that we've had, and if you look at how much we keep adding to that postponement list, we are well above the 4.6%. So this is very crucial for the city of Thorold that the Ontario government starts to help municipalities with bridging that gap. We can only raise taxes so much, and once you reach that limit, then you have the money to fix your infrastructure. We're talking about roads, sewers, really basic stuff.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other speakers? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Items referred to city staff. Councillor Whalen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, second by Councilor Neal, the communications and list of correspondence 6B be received and directed to the indicated staff.
Are there any items for discussion in item B? Seeing none, I call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. List of committees, minutes, correspondence from volunteer committees. Councilor Ugolini.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Sharon, that the communications on the list of correspondence, 16 minutes correspondence from volunteer committees, be received for information purposes and filed.
Thank you, Councilor. Any items for discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Quick update, folks. It's final. Blue Jays 5, Cleveland 1.
See you tomorrow.
Reports, correspondence from the region of Niagara. Councilor Longo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and seconded by Councilor Hanley that the communications on the list of correspondence 6E, reports, correspondence from the region of Niagara, be received for information purposes and filed.
Thank you, Councilor. Any items for discussion? Councilor Ugolini.
Yes, I just want to speak on this from the Office of the Regional Clerk, the Brock District Plan. I think this is very exciting. It's a great vision, and I look forward to the presentation to council. Do you know when that is going to happen?
I received an email this afternoon to arrange a date, so we're going to try for November 1st.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, I'll call any other items for discussion. Seeing none, I'll call a question. All those in favor? Opposed? For purposes, Councilor Neal.
Mr. Mayor, it's moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Sharon, that the communications on the list of correspondence 6F be received for information purposes and filed.
And again, are there any items for discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Move on to reports. Minutes of the General Committee meeting held on October 4, 2016. Councilor Sheriff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Ugolini, that the minutes of the General Committee meeting held on October the 4th, 2016 be received and adopted.
Items for discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Other business, Neal, Whalen, Ugolini. Nobody over here? Okay. Councilor Neal.
Mr. Mayor, I got a couple of phone calls from Thorold, Hodgkins Avenue, and I went out there and went down the street, and it's a beautiful street, very immaculate. The houses are being well maintained, except for 3 of them, Mr. Mayor. And the 3 in question, and I believe, I'm sure we have a file on at least 2 out of the 3 that I'm going to mention. Number 96 and number 98, Hodgkins Avenue. It is a pigsty, and it has been, it looks like, for quite a while. There's no reason why we haven't acted upon it in the past. And number 82, which in the very near future has started to leave garbage in their particular, on their particular piece of property. So I would like staff to have a report back, go out and visit these properties again, if they have already in the past, and report back on the actions that they're going to take regarding these 3 particular pieces of property.
Councilor, can you pass that information that you have on to Mr. Costa?
Yeah, I will do that.
Thank you. You had 2 things?
Nope.
Just one? Okay. Councilor Whalen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm sure everybody's had some complaints recently about the traffic situation in front of Eastvale School. We addressed a lot of the other, that area seems to be worse and worse each year. So what I'd like to do is get a staff report to see what we do as far as traffic calming. And we put the traffic measures up on 4th Street as far as the signs. So I know we can do both ways and maybe at least one. Mr. Dunsmore.
Mr. Dunsmore.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. As part of an initiative by the Regional Health Department, we have met with the Richmond Street School and gone through traffic safety and been out there and did an inspection during pick up time at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and walk the neighborhood. We have a plan in the next month or so to have a similar walk around Prince of Wales School in order to help some of these situations. And I think it's best for us to actually talk directly to the school to help come up with a solution that actually works rather than what we've been doing and kind of chasing our own tail on this whole thing.
That's great. So can we expect a report back first part of December?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Thank you, Mr. Bassmore. And I have Councilor Euling.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. We had a very good meeting with the Town and Gown Committee yesterday, and the meeting was attended with Mayor Luciani, Councilors Lombo and Pion as well, as our new group of city residents. And we had some very good discussions on the garbage issue, on student clean yards, and one of the issues that we come out, the city staff's going to work with Brock to form a draft letter to be sent to the landlords, because we always deal with the students in the buildings, but we need to also make sure the landlords know what our expectations are. So hopefully we'll have that for our next meeting, which is in November.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Whalen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick question to Councilor Euling report. Will we be getting updates and minutes on these meetings? It'd be great to keep us on top.
Yes, that should show up at our next council meeting. The minutes from our meeting yesterday should show up at the next council meeting and then thereafter.
Okay. Or other business, any other speakers? Seeing none, I'll move the bylaws. Bylaw number 123, 2016, 124, 2016. Councilor Whalen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Neal, that they be given entrance to following bylaws. Bylaw number 123-2016, a bylaw to authorize the execution of the contract between the target contract limited, the Stewart Avenue water main replacement contract number 2015. The bylaw number 124-2016, being a bylaw to exempt certain lands as part of Control PLC 05-2016 pursuant to Section 50 of the Plan of 1990, as amended for the Plan 59M 423 Lot 8, municipally known as 2426 Elderberry Road, Federation Heights, West Community Base 6. And now this be read in person.
All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried.
And moved by myself, second by Councilor Neal, that the bylaw, just for the first time, be read a second and third time, and do pass, and that the mayor and clerk do sign and seal the same, and you roll to the council.
All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Bylaw number 125, 2016, and 126, 2016. Councilor Hampton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, second by Councilor Sharon, that leave be given to introduce the following bylaw. Bylaw number 125, 2016, being a bylaw to exempt certain land from Park Control PLC 06, 2016, and PLC 07, 2016, pursuant to Section 50 of the Planning Act RSO 1990 as amended for Plan 59M 423, Lot 26 and Lot 27, municipally known as 13 and 15 Elderberry Road and 17 and 19 Elderberry Road, Confederation Heights, West Community Phase 6. Bylaw number 126, 2016, being a bylaw to exempt certain lands from Park Lot Control PLC 08, 2016, pursuant to Section 50 of the Planning Act RSO 1990 as amended for Plan 59M 423 Lot 32, municipally known as 37 and 39 Elderberry Road, Town of Federation Heights, West Community Phase 6, and that the same be read at first time.
All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried.
That the bylaws just read the first time be read a second and third time and do pass, that the mayor and clerk do sign and seal the same. Any rule of this council contrary notwithstanding.
Thank you, Councilor. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Bylaw number 127-216 and 128-2016. Councilor Euling.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Neal, that leave be given to introduce the following bylaws. Bylaw number 127-2016, being a bylaw to exempt certain lands from park lot control, brackets PLC 09-2016, pursuant to Section 50 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, as amended, for Plan 59M-423, Lot 36, municipally known as 53 and 55 Alderberry Road, Confederation Heights West Community, Phase 6. Bylaw number 128-2016, being a bylaw to designate Beckett's Reserve, McFarland House circa 1840, Stephen Beatty House 1879, located at 10 Canby Street, Port Robinson, of historical, architectural, and cultural heritage value of interest under Part 4 of the Ontario Heritage Act, RSO 2005, Chapter 0.18, Section 29, and the same be read a first time.
Thank you, Councillor. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried.
That the bylaw just read a first time be read a second and third time in due pass, and that the mayor and clerk do sign and seal the same. Any rule of this council to the contrary notwithstanding.
All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Bylaws number 129-2016 and 130-2016. Councillor Longo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Hanley that be given to introduce the following bylaws. Bylaw number 129-2016, being a bylaw to designate the Fraser McMahon House located at 13 Portland Street, Thorold, of historical, architectural, and cultural heritage value or interest under Part 4 of the Ontario Heritage Act, RSO 2005, Chapter 0.18, Section 29. And bylaw number 130-2016, a bylaw to authorize the execution of a maintenance agreement with the regional municipality of Niagara for the multi-use trail on Merrickville Highway from Sir Isaac Rockway to DQ Road, and that the same now be read a first time.
Thank you, Councillor. All those in favor? Opposed? That's
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Hanley that the bylaws just read a first time be read a second and third time and do pass, and that the mayor and clerk do sign and seal the same. Any rule of this council to the contrary notwithstanding.
Thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Bylaw number 133-2016. Councillor Dion.
Hang on, we'll say that.
Mr. Mayor, I need to declare.
Okay. So clerk will note that. Thank you. Bylaw number 133-2016. Councillor Dion. Bylaw. Go ahead, Councillor.
Yes, I can do this, so.
Given that he declared a conflict, I just realized he had seconded the motion. So, somebody else do what you need to. Thanks. Moved by myself, second by Councillor Hanley, that leave be given to introduce the following bylaw. Bylaw number 133-2016, a bylaw to authorize the execution of a marina use agreement with Farnborough Sports Limited, Thorold Senior AAA Hockey Club, and that the same now be read the first time.
All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried.
Second, myself and seconded by Councillor Hanley, that the bylaw be read the first time, be read a second and third time, and do pass, and that the mayor and clerk do sign and seal the same. Any rule of this council to the contrary notwithstanding.
Thank you, Councillor. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. And we're into notice of motions. Councillor Whalen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I understand that the region of Niagara is contemplating ceasing their lease on the Gateway Tourism Center coming into Niagara and Grimsby. So I'd like to bring forth a notice of motion at the next meeting that we support the renewal or renegotiation of the somewhere in that area just coming into this area. And then a little bit further to that our tourism director negotiate and work with the center at the same time.
So So noted, and that'll be brought forward next council meeting. Are there any other notices of motions? Seeing none, I'll call for adjournment. Councilor Whalen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, second by Councilor Neal. That we adjourn this meeting at 7:29 p.m.
Thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. And was there any opposition to move the meeting to general committee? No, we have a break or anything? No, okay. We'll move it to general committee. I'd like to call this meeting to order, and first off, our councilors, are there any conflicts of interest? Okay. We'll move into the administration section, CAO 2016-16, Great Lakes and St. Lawrence Cities Initiative.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, request of council and mayor, forward a report regarding the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence Cities Initiatives. And the resolutions are that the council approved the budget overrun of $2,100 plus HST to become a member of the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence Cities Initiative, and that expenses of approximately $2,000 to attend the annual conference to be included in the 2017 members of council budget. And that concludes the report.
Thank you. I get a vote for the report, Councilor Neal.
So moved.
Speakers to the report, Councilor Eaglini.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I just want to, I don't know if we have to do this because it's the mayor's, but I want to make sure that you're appointed to that committee. Can we do that right now?
I think we should do that right now.
It is a mayor's committee and other people can be involved, but I think it's important that our mayor be on that committee. So I nominate Mayor Luciani to be appointed to the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence Cities Initiative.
Thank you, Councilor. Are there any other people who would like to put their names forward to attend it? Okay, I guess I accept.
With such neglect, did you say? Were you thinking of changing your mind?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we'll make that a third recommendation of the report that Mayor Luciani be appointed.
Thank you. I think it's a very important initiative. Somewhere along the line, there's 130 cities involved right now. There's, with this new pipe being connected to this city south of Chicago, I think you will see a groundswell of more cities around the Great Lakes joining this initiative. So I'm proud that Thorold is going to be part of this initiative. I'll do the best I can to represent our city. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on to finance. DF 2016-35, Financial Information System RFP award. Ms. Morrow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The recommendations that Diamond Municipal Solutions be awarded the Financial Information Systems project at a cost of $228,921 plus taxes. That Public Sector Digest, FMW RAP, be awarded the Advanced Budgeting Systems at a cost of $44,000 plus taxes. That the remaining balance of the capital budget of $350,000 be utilized for required additional software, training costs, staffing requirements, customization of forms and system parameters, and any other contingencies. And lastly, that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute the required agreements. And this concludes the report.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. For the report, Councilor Whalen. So move report. Speakers to the report. Go ahead, Councilor Whalen.
I think, Mr. Mayor, it's a big expense, but it's nice to see we're finally getting into the current century, so I'm sure it'll be cost-effective and cost-saving at the same time.
Okay, any other speakers? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. DF 2016-36, Lack Reserve. Ms. Morrow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The recommendation that council authorize an overrun expenditure of $1,200 from the Heritage Reserve Fund for the publication of a book entitled History of Beaver Dams, A Tale of Two Villages. Secondly, that any monies derived from the sale of the book be returned to this Heritage Reserve Fund. And this concludes the report.
Can I have a mover for the report? Councilor Sharon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move the report with a comment. This is a book that has a limited number of people who will actually purchase it. So from the original 500 copies, LAC decided to cut down to only 100 copies at this time. They'll still retain the rights to be if there is a demand for it, but it's an excellent piece of information for and a part of our heritage of what they're putting forward. So it's and also should pay itself back. The 100 copies being sold should come back into the reserve fund and it should pay for itself. It just saves the budget of the Heritage Committee not to have this kind of large expense out to do it this way. And I think it's a win-win situation for the community and for the actual history of the Beaver Dams area.
Thank you, Councilor. Are there any other speakers? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. DF 2016-37, accounts payable for September 2016. Ms. Morrow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The recommendation that all accounts payable for the month of September in the amount of $7,109,248.01 be received and submitted to council for approval.
Thank you, Ms. Morrow. Move for the recommendation. Councilor Galini.
So moved.
Speakers? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. We'll move into the operations section for one report. DOR 2016-71, active transportation project status update, Highway 406.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it's recommended that council receive the report DOR 2016-71 for information purposes. So, thanks for the report.
Thank you, Mr. Dunsmore. Can I get a mover for the report? Councilor Leon?
So moved, and I just want to speak.
Speak to the speakers. Well, I have a speakers list over here. Go ahead. Go ahead, Councilor Leon.
Thank you. I just want to thank staff for putting together this report. It really actually makes it quite clear that after many years of people wondering what was going to happen to active transportation along these two corridors, there seems to be a lot happening right now, and finally things are actually coming together on this, and it's wonderful to see. I wasn't aware of the timeline for the Ministry of Transportation doing that section up to the overpass on the 406. I remember that it used to be a conflict between various different levels of, and it's great to see that they're just taking the lead on it and going ahead and doing it. So I assume they're paying for all of it. Is that no? I guess that's my lead into the since that is one of the key areas that in the past there have been 4 levels of, St. Catharines, Thorold, and MTO. Is it all going to be shared among those 4 levels, or how is the cost structure going to happen for that project? Because it sounds like it's happening relatively soon.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the active transportation costs are not borne by the ministry itself. Okay. They don't pay for that. So the other municipalities have come up with a cost sharing plan of 50% by the region, 25 by the 2 municipalities.
Okay, thank you.
I have Councilor Ugolini, then Councilor Neal.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, Manager Engineering Sean, is there we making any headway over the DQ bridge, the overpass there at DQ Road, so that our trail on both sides is going to have some symmetry going on in there?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yeah, there were some comments as late as this afternoon about that from the MPO. They're still kind of hesitant about approving us doing the going up the ramps, and then because they're afraid of what it's going to result in, I'm going to break this out. So we're moving, it's just moving slowly.
Thank you.
Councilor Neal.
A question to Sean. It states here that the projects will be started next year for St. David's Road and from Collier Road all the way out to and including MTO section. Is that going to be next year?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, they have to go through a public consultation, environmental assessment process. This the fall, winter from the region, and then their design will follow shortly after. I think the intent is to have some work on the ground by the end of 2017.
And has there been talk of obtaining funding from either the province or the feds or both? St. Catharines, Thorold in the region and submitting an application for grant funding for that particular project?
At this point in time, it's premature for that. We need to get through at least preliminary design phases to determine what it is we're going to build before we make those types of applications.
Okay, as long as we're going to maybe try and do that.
Maybe I can add to that, Councilor Neal, that we did, last week, we did pass, last Thursday, we passed, it was accepted in principle in our capital budget at the region. So December 8th will probably be passed the entire budget, and that will be included. So it'll be finalized there. So it's been passed in principle already, so the money's there. Okay.
I know the money's there because the region's going to pay 50%, 25, and the county's going to be 25. Why not get the province and the feds to pay some of that 50%, 25, and 25?
Yeah,
I mean, and I agree with the operations manager that maybe we have to wait until get all the planning parts done, but I think we should submit a joint for funding once we get the project to that stage.
Thank you. I'll call a question on that report. Are there any other speakers on the report? Seeing none, I'll call a question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. There's nothing under the planning and building section. That's unusual. Clerk section. Usually we have 7 or 8. Clerk section. CC 2016-46 Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund formula-based component. Ms. Vecchio.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's being recommended that the mayor and clerk be directed to sign all necessary documents required to complete an agreement with the province of Ontario for funding under the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund with a formula-based component, and that a bylaw as requested by the fund be presented at the special council meeting this evening. That concludes the report.
Thank you, Ms. Vecchio. Can I get a mover for the report? Councilor Ugolini?
So move the report.
Speakers to the report. Seeing none, I'll call a question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. CC 2016-47. Request for municipal council support for St. Lawrence Seaway Management Corporation for the development of 500 kilowatt hydro generating station under the IESO's Fit 5 program. There's more. Ms. Delvecchio.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's being recommended that Thorold City request an execution of a prescribed plan from the IESO Feed-in Tariff Program Fit 5 for the St. Lawrence Seaway Management Corporation at Weir 7 for a 500 kilowatt solar project located on their own lands. That this is a demonstration of municipal support in principle and will provide support in the Fit 5 process and better their chances of a successful application, and that the prescribed template and resolution be presented at special council meeting this evening for approval. This is the report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Can I get a mover for the report? Councilor Longo.
So move the report.
Speakers to the report. Councilor Piano.
Yeah, just to clarify, I guess this is a solar, not a hydro generator.
Yeah.
So it's a solar facility to go next to the Yurko.
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilor Whalen.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, did I get the size of these panels, I would imagine, correct? So do we know the size of the actual units, or are they quite visible, high in the air, do you know what the actual...
Size of the panels, will with you.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. No, I don't know the exact size. It's just an application at this point in time that they have to make. They have to make a similar application through the Niagara Escarpment Commission as well. So that'll be happening at the same time.
So that being the case, we get a formal approval on such in more details?
As far as site plan approval?
Yes.
They're federal, so they will probably have contact with us, but they won't be required to go through a formal site plan process.
My concerns are we approve this now because of these massive panels, where do we sit, we're done. So we just know more details on this before we go ahead and approve it. So if we start with this, where do we see what it's like to work with?
I don't understand why you need more information. Basically, they're going to put up a solar array on the east side of the canal. It's not like they're putting a windmill up where there could probably be opposition. It's a quiet solar array.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, it's just located on the east side of the canal. Panels that are sort of on the east side of the canal, under this, sort of under where Lake Shore Cemetery is, under the escarpment at that point.
Thank you. Councilor Neal.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I agree with the project, but I'm just wondering if there's any way, since we don't have very little leverage on the seaway, one of the leverages that we might have regarding a ferry situation, is there any way of influencing the seaway before approving this project, to sit down with them and discuss the ferry project?
Barter, for lack of a better word.
No, I'm just kidding. I know that will never happen.
Okay, are you done, Councilor Neal?
Yes.
Sit down. Then Councilor Ugalady.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to respond to that if you're just kidding. But just to respond to Councilor Whalen's concern, if this was a residential area or someplace even near, very near a residential area, I would have similar concerns. However, you're talking about pretty much an industrial area, and I don't think, I've seen solar panels like this, but they won't be higher than the industrial buildings that are already in that area. The buildings above the height of these panels.
Councilor
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to our CEO. My question is, with the changes the government announced that they're not approving these projects, will this project be able to go forward with the changes they've made to their green energy policy?
It may not. At this point in time, because they sent it in prior to the changes, it might be.
Councilor Hanley, you have a question?
Just a comment. If it's anything like, I worked on a solar farm out in Haldimand County. When they built one, I could stand, maybe 5 foot 7, I stretch my hand up as high as I can go. There's 3 mid rails. They come along, they insert 4x2 panels. So it's not going to be any type of monstrosity or whatever and that stuff. Anybody visually from naked eye, unless you're right beside them, you're never going to see them. So to me, I'm all for it.
Thanks, Councilor. Are there any other speakers? Call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. CC 2016-48, 2016 to 2019 subscription agreement with eScribe Software Limited.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's being recommended that the city of Thorold enter into a 3-year subscription agreement with WeeStreem software for the services and support necessary for e-agenda, and that the mayor and clerk be directed to sign all necessary documents required to execute the agreement effectively as required.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Do we have a mover for the recommendation? Councilor Longo?
So move the report.
Speakers to the recommendation? Seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. CC 2016 Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund top-up grant application.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The staff recommendation is that staff be authorized to submit an application for a single project under the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund top-up grant for the reconstruction of Ormond Street from Portland Street to St. inclusive of sidewalks and bike lanes on the west side of Ormond Street between St. David and Regent Road.
Fiorentino. Can I get a mover for the report? Councilor Leon.
So move the report.
Speakers to the report. Just one question with regards to the bike lanes. Are there bike lanes on both sides of Ormond Street? Because the way it's stated, it sounds like it's just a bike lane on one side, which wouldn't make a lot of sense.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the intent would be to put bike lanes on both sides. The sidewalk is the only part on the west side.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. CC 2016-50 Clean Water and Wastewater Fund Grant. This. Okay. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's being recommended that staff be authorized to submit a grant application under Phase 1 of the Clean Water and Wastewater Fund for the rehabilitation of storm sewers in the Thorold South area, and that the mayor be authorized to sign an attestation incrementality attached as Appendix A as a requirement for the complete submission of the Clean Water and Wastewater Fund. That concludes the report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Can I get a move for the report? Councilor Uglini. So move the report. Speakers to the report. Seeing none, I'll call a question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. We move into the fire section. FD 2000-05 budget overruns in Catherine's dispatch services. Chief Sapp.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it's recommended that council approve a budget overrun of $4,410 for the St. Catharines dispatch service for the year 2016. That concludes my report.
Thanks, Chief. Can I get a move? Councilor Sharon.
Move the report.
Speakers to the report. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. We have nothing in camera, and we'll go into special counsel. We're just signing the motion. Sign the council. Do now rise and enter into special counsel. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Moved by Councilor Pion, seconded by Councilor Sharon, that the recommendations to be approved. CAO 2016-16, DF 2016-35, DF 2016-36, 37, DOR 2016-71, CC 2016-46, 47, 48, 49, 50, and FD 2016-05. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Okay, moved by Councilor Pion, seconded by Councilor Sharon. This is all the whereas for the IESO St. Lawrence Fit Flight Program. I'll just call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Bylaws. Moved by Councilor Pion, seconded by Councilor Sharon, that leave be given to introduce the following bylaws. Bylaw number 131-2016, 132-2016. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Moved by Councilor Pion, seconded by Councilor Sharon, that the bylaws just read a first time be read a second and third time and be passed, and that the mayor and clerk do sign and seal the same in any rule of this council to the contrary, now favor? Opposed? That's carried. Moved by Councilor seconded by Councilor Sharon, that this meeting is hereby adjourned at 7:53 p.m. And that's it.